and all to watch this, and it'll be dope. So without further ado, I'm gonna play this dope video. It's a quick little 2 second, 10 minute, well, 2 minute video. Goddamn, and it's actually gonna be some real details, and we can go on our own, actually give our respects and get more deep. So I'm excited to show you guys, and I think it's gonna really hit it on the button. Exactly the toxicness of how to go about things nowadays. So let's get it.
If you never had a death and been born again, I'm talking about the death of the ego, the death of the old self. No toxic masculinity. Alpha male shit. Like, no, I eat you. Like, stop playing. Like, you just been hurt, so you're overcompensating for something that's for a lack of something. That's when masculinity becomes toxic. My grandfather was very nurturing. He was a monster. He was a real monster. But he was very nurturing. He taught me how to cook, taught me how to fish, taught me how to make my bed. He was nurturing. He didn't fuss at me. Get up, you a man. No, man, you all right? Shit, just do it again. That was his approach. You all right? Do it again. He was gentle with us. But when he was teaching us how to fight, he taught us, aggression, controlled aggression. So, like, a lot of times I just be seeing this alpha male movement and this feminist movement. No, that's not God. The holy divine feminine energy and the sacred masculinity together is balanced. That's God. Mother Earth, Father Sky. It has to be balanced. You can't be like, man, women do what I tell them, or you can't be a woman saying, oh, men adopt. No, it has to be balanced. We all been hurt. We can't bring our past traumas into new relationships.
And it has to come from within that balance too, because we have to have balance between the sacred masculinity and the
once you learn that God is not just a man, King Dingaling sitting down, and you realize that all great men, even if you believe in Jesus Christ, came through the womb of a woman, you look at women different. Because once you look at them different, you look at yourself different. Through yoga, I learned like how the right side of the body is masculine, the left side is feminine. It has to be balanced in order for you to get 100% productivity out of the body. You have to be balanced and in tune with yourself. If you're not going to be balanced and in tune with the universe. It's been a journey because I look at some of my toxic traits, and most of that shit was out of fear. That's out of fear. I don't operate out of fear anymore. And I'm never afraid to be vulnerable because it takes more courage to be vulnerable than it does to be a tough guy. Hope I answered your question.
I enjoyed that video, man. That video was definitely dope, and it hits things right on the button. Some things. Chios, go ahead. I see you. You unmuted, brother.
Oh no, I just unmuted. I'm tuned in. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, what was your take on that video? Actually, hearing that.
Look, first, let me say two things. One, Kevin Gates is that dude, and I've seen him grow over the years, and it's just amazing to see. Always inspirational, and that jacket is fire. I need that. Outside of that, yes. I mean, really, I agree with everything he said. You know what I mean? It's about balance and everything. I was just talking to somebody about that like yesterday. It must have been in the morning. It's this whole movement and everything. There's a lot of guys. I want to give you your props for being who you are, Caleb, because there's a lot of guys out here that are like trying to do something similar to what you're doing, but they're like toxic as hell. Like we get a new edition of that guy every single year. I think we talked about it one time on one of the meetings. Like it's always some guy like spouting all this nonsense about how women are supposed to bow to him, and like she's not allowed to go on any trips without her. You know what I mean? Like we always get a new one every year, so
It's always a new era. You ain't lying. And I can definitely say for me from that video, man, and watching it a few times before you guys to make sure it's quality. It definitely, I've always watched Kevin Gates for a while, but it definitely put into perspective how, what up, Hop? It definitely put into perspective how men nowadays, because we're dealing with modern women, and to really create the longevity standpoint, we need to be a modern man. But the ultimate way is to have emotional intelligence. It can't go without absence, but even more so communication, that has to be a thing. The reason being is that that's just how women feel connected with the man that she's with. So communication has to be a daily thing. and it's definitely something different. I know the Hops, you just got in, bro, but I'm gonna put the link in the chat so people, if they missed the link, they can watch it. But nevertheless, Ashley, what was your takeaway from that video? Ashley, being a woman.
As a woman, it's hard for me to even hear Kevin Gates. Let me just start there.
I understand him. I was more so what he said. That's all. That's it.
Yeah. As far as what he said, did I agree with everything? No. Do I understand where he's coming from? Absolutely. I think that one thing that he touched on that was really a good takeaway was just mentioning the fact that, you know, there's a lot of misconceptions out here as far as like balance and what that truly is. I think that once you encounter the right partner, balance is extremely important. Not only within yourself as a single, but within that relationship. So
I love to hear it. That is a good key takeaway. What about? Oh, go ahead, Zena.
I think because actually about the whole Kevin Gates thing, because he's been a little wild lately. I will say that. But he's been like, and we all know it, right? Watching him, he's been a little bit wild. But I can say from that interview, to me, I feel like it was his wife talking. Like, I feel like a lot, because the thing is, you know, she was saying that he has grown into like the person that he is today or whatever. But the thing is, a lot of people don't know behind the scenes of how his wife is as a nurturer, as like the person that she is or whatever. And the reason why I can like actually, you know, resonate with that video a little bit is because I heard Drake Gates in my head versus him, if that makes sense. So, you know, but that's all I had to really say. But I'm not gonna talk about my takeaway. We'll talk about it. Go ahead.
All right, Zena wins. All right, okay. What about you, Stephen, man? What were some of your takeaways, brother, from that actual quick clip?
Oh man. Well, let me put it to you like this, Caleb. You know me a lot more than the others. They don't know me, so I'm gonna just put it in the raw, and maybe you can clean it up
No problem.
and interpret what I'm saying, because it may not be popular or palatable.
Gotcha.
What I would say is that, first off, I don't really understand what the problem is with Mr. Kevin Gates. Me personally, I never knew the brother and never followed him until about a month or so ago. Then when I started following him and kind of doing my own research and really listening to the evolution of how he's grown, when you really sit back and listen, in my opinion, in my narrative, from a male and female perspective, I guess it's hard for me to understand why women have such a hard time digesting and finding it palatable about what he's saying. Because when you hear it and not kind of take the emotions out of it, what about what he's saying is not true? I think a lot of what he's saying really just hits at the core of what the agenda that nowadays is being pushed. And when it's any opinion is different than what you've been taught and how you grew up and what you've seen and what is being deemed as popular, yeah, you know, I could see, well, you know, let's hear what he's saying and let's find a way to challenge it. I think that that's where communication comes in at. You know, God has given us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. And instead of finding issues in both male and female, how we look at those things, we should really try to hopefully take the time to try to understand, well, where is he getting this from? Why is he saying what he's saying? And go back to the original design, depending on where you get your beliefs and values from. You know, if you get it from the Bible and the spiritual perspective, yeah, there may be some things that conflict with what he's saying. It's going to conflict with what you think or what you've been taught. So it really depends, you know, where you're basing it from. But me personally, I don't really see anything wrong. I think he's very humble. He's humbled himself a lot. And it just kind of rubs up against, some people and what they've seen, what they've been taught. So I'll leave it at that. That's just me.
Yeah, no problem. But that's well said in your perspective and how you broke it down, and make sure you wasn't trying to disrespect nobody. You was just trying to make it very clear on what you felt and what you're seeing in this regard. And even more so, you made it very clear, like, I just focused on what were the messages pertaining to versus like nowadays people tend to I mean, social media is conditioned to have negativity, so we can't help but just want to breed negativity to anything that we actually see, unfortunately say. But
Exactly.
I can definitely say that. And then Taylor, from the video, what was your perspective? And also from what Mr. Stevens said, the jazz singer.
Absolutely. I totally understand where Mr. Stevens is coming from. And I appreciate everyone's input. I understand where everyone's coming from. As for what he said in the video, I think it definitely had a lot of understanding points to it, because as a man, just like as a woman, there's certain times as a woman you don't need to be all the way gentle or loving or nurturing. Just like as a man, sometimes you don't need to all the way be aggressive or, just put your manhood on the table like that. I think there's sometimes as men, you have to humble yourself to address certain situations, teach certain things to your children, or whoever in your life. I think it's not always necessary to have that toxic masculinity or that power, that authority being shown in who you were created to be as a man. You know what I'm saying? Like as a woman, I think we do it pretty all right. I'm not saying women are perfect, but like as a woman, we know how to go from, okay, being an independent woman to now a dependent woman if we find the right man. It's not about, it's not necessarily about always paying the bills and providing as a man to the woman you're with. It's just about, can you make me feel protected? Can you make me feel like I can be submissive to you? Because a lot of women do want to be submissive, but they can't be feminine with men who are feminine. They can't be feminine with men who are too masculine and won't allow them to be the women. You know what I'm saying? It's just certain things, what he said in the video was really good. I definitely think there's a lot of people who come out trying to teach, oh, women should do this, women should do this, when really I think it's a balance. It comes down to communication. Like you said, Caleb, at the end of the day, like if you know what you're looking for in a man, your do's and don'ts that you like as a woman from a man, communicate that with whoever you're invested in. If that's something, a conversation that can be had, if you're both looking forward to take that step with one another, I think you should have that conversation. Well, here's certain things. Here's a few things I realize my certain generation is okay with, that I'm honestly not okay with. It kind of just is a conversation needs to be had, so you can realize if that's someone you can compromise with and work on those things y'all maybe disagree or agree on, or just find a happy medium, or find out if that's the type of person you actually want to work through with. But I think so many times toxic masculinity or toxic feminism, is too big on the table. And if they kind of just like balance each other out, realize, like you said, realize where it's needed, where it's not needed, where it's just basic communication that needs to be had or basic action that needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people overdo it. So what he was saying about just being humble as a man, realizing when to be aggressive, when to be strong, when to be, gentle, like his father taught him, or his grandfather, whoever he was talking about. I think he had a good point.
For sure. Well, I appreciate you saying all those things that you're saying on perspective. And the biggest thing that you said, you probably didn't I take away is more so understanding the modern woman is here. And unfortunately to say it, in order for a woman to be feminine to this type of men now is not based upon the traditional man values. It's based upon the man has to evolve into the modern man for us to automatically be feminine to him. A man can have car, crib, and all this stuff like that, cool, but a woman is different now. A woman I could be feminine to you, but I'm not gonna be this way for long, unfortunately to say. So a lot of men has to make absence of what's been absent in men entirely. And is it really gonna hurt us to be more emotional intelligence and get better with communication? Is that really bad? It shouldn't be bad. I mean, if it is, well, fuck, cool. You can find a traditional woman that's still here, but they're trickling down because social media has made it very clear. All these women, I'm a bad, and I can do whatever I want by myself. All that shit is real. I'm just saying that's what it is, But nevertheless, Hops, man, what you got to say, Hops? You've been tuned in on everybody so far about the topic at hand. You gotta unmute yourself. I'll unmute you. Okay, there you go.
I'm a little lost on what the general topic at hand is.
Well, the general topic of the hand right now is the understanding what is toxic masculinity and also what is sacred masculinity to you, basically.
Play that video.
You want me to play the video? I mean, how many people didn't see the video? I mean, I think Chills didn't see. It's only 2 minutes. It's quick.
You can play the video. It's cool.
It's 2 minutes, you know. If everybody don't mind me, I can replay it right quick. Ain't no biggie. I knock it out right quick. So Hops, you can see it. You can get your perspective. Quick little video, nothing too crazy. And Sheree just
That was a perfect answer, and I'd say perfect.
Cool.
Ever had a death and been born again? I'm talking about the death of the ego, the death of the old self. No toxic masculinity. Alpha male shit. Like, no, I eat you. Like, stop playing. Like, you just been hurt, so you're overcompensating for something that's for a lack of something. That's when masculinity becomes toxic. My grandfather was very nurturing, and he was a monster. He was a real monster, but he was very nurturing. He taught me how to cook, taught me how to fish, taught me how to make my bed. He was nurturing. He didn't fuss at me, get up, you a man. No, man, you all right, shit, just do it again. That was his approach. You all right, do it again. He was gentle with us. But when he was teaching us how to fight, he taught us, you know, aggression, controlled aggression. So like, a lot of times I just be seeing this alpha male movement and this feminist movement. No, that's not God. The holy divine feminine energy and the sacred masculinity together is balanced. That's God. Mother Earth, Father Sky, it has to be balanced. You can't be like, man, women do what I tell them, or you can't be a woman saying, oh, men adopt. No, it has to be balanced. We all been hurt. We can't bring our past traumas into new relationships.
And it has to come from within that balance too, because we have to have balance between the sacred masculinity and the
Once you learn that God is not just a man, King Dingaling sitting down, and you realize that all great men, even if you believe in Jesus Christ, came through the womb of a woman, you look at women different. Because once you look at them different, you know, you look at yourself different. Through yoga, I learned like how the right side of the body is masculine, the left side is feminine. It has to be balanced in order for you to get 100% productivity out of the body. You have to be balanced and in tune with yourself. If you're not gonna be balanced and in tune with the universe. It's been a journey because I look at some of my toxic traits, and most of that shit was out of fear. That was out of fear. I don't operate out of fear anymore. And I'm never afraid to be vulnerable because it takes more courage to be vulnerable than it does to be a tough guy. Hope I answered your question.
There you go, Hops, man. So what was your take on that, brother? I played that just for you. Just for you. You gotta, okay, there you go.
Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, I can, bro.
You said a very distinct word earlier that is kind of, I'm gonna call it my mantra for the year, emotional maturity, right? Mm-hmm. So it takes a lot, like he said, in order to grow outside of your immediate reaction to a situation, whether it be an argument, whether it be, you know, daily life decisions, relationship issues and stuff like that. I don't always have to be aggressive, like he said. Compromise. Can I take the time to understand what my partner is feeling, or can I take the time to step back and not be, you know, just so prideful in the moment, you know? Men are prideful naturally, right? But you also got to think we're logical creatures. Women are emotional by nature. So 9 times out of the 10, if you meet force with force, what's going to happen? You're going to create friction, right? But if you take what's going on and you learn how to handle the situation properly, then it makes life so much easier. Toxic masculinity, toxic femininity, and things like that. People get so wrapped up in, like you said earlier, I'm a bad bitch, I'm this, I'm that. Or I'm the realest nigga on the planet. I'm a tough guy. I'm a this, I'm a that. But none of that shit matters. None of that shit matters. It doesn't. Do you have the ability to break down a situation, break down yourself to an emotional, to a very distinct level, and look inward and be like, all right, I was wrong in this situation, or I handled it wrong, or like he said, vulnerability. I felt like this and not have and not, you know, not be aggressive, just be 100% community you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I think I'm not too good pronunciation, but you know.
Can you communicate to a specific level how you feel without it being something more, without creating another issue?
I tell you what, brother, you said a key thing to me, and I'm pretty sure most guys can agree here, is that we don't always cause the friction in situations. I don't know. We may be the root of it, but we didn't cause it, if that makes sense.
That's not music again.
Ashley.
No, could you break that down?
Go ahead, Ashley. No, Ashley look like she got something to say. Go ahead. Say what you want to say.
I don't have anything like, I mean, so the thing about it is, as far as, like I told you, and I told Zena, and I told Brian, well, I told everybody on last test, basically. You know, I learned a lot within the last toxic situation that I was in. And the thing that I learned the most was, don't ignore the things like the friction or the little petty shit, right? Those sometimes are signs that you're not with the right person.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Stop trying to make shit work or work it out.
That's what we're taught, though. You remember?
Can I ask for an example of that, please? When you say don't ignore the petty shit or the what? Give me an example so I could, be in line with what you're saying.
Was it Mr. Charles? So I guess what I'm saying, like, Caleb understands a little bit more of my background and he knows what's going on. So I say that type of shit and he understands what I'm saying. So to kind of give you a better understanding, it's like, I've been in a toxic situation where it was like, oh my God, I don't even know if I should be saying this type of shit, but like, I just was in a really extremely toxic.
I understand if it's, if it's confidential. I get it. It's all good because you don't know me. It's just like a regular general thing like that could happen to anybody.
I mean, if you find yourself arguing about a TV show or you guys can't seem to come up to an agreement about, like, for example, like if y'all want to go on a date or whatever, and it's an argument about what I'm wearing and it's not even something revealing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can understand my ass and my tits, my cooch are hanging out, but like, you have an issue that I'm covered. Those are just when petty things and just trivial arguments come about within relationships. I don't feel people should always work shit out. I think sometimes it's okay to say, hey, it's been real. It's been real fun, but now I gotta run. It's just not working.
So you talking? I'm sorry to interrupt. You talking about based upon like whenever it starts to get to the point of projecting insecurities to one another, like it starts to get really narrowed down into that. Yeah,
because anytime you find yourself in a situation where you're in a relationship and there's so much negative interaction, there's so much tension, there's so much toxicity, like, you know what I mean? It's like, cut that shit.
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate you saying everything. What about you, Chios? I see you about to unmute. Oh, go ahead, Stephen.
Oh, no, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. I'm with you.
Cool. What about you, Chios, man? Some things about yourself that you found that was toxic, and then when you got older, you start to realize to start to learn to correct for yourself to be more, taking upon as sacred.
Listening, was one of the main things. I've always been a pretty decent listener, but unfortunately, the environment I grew up in, you kind of had to fight to be heard. So, I had to like kind of curve that within myself where now I listen more intently to what a person is saying, especially, my partner. So that's one of the first things I can say. The second thing that I believe I changed would be patience. I At first, I wasn't very patient. Like that was like probably one of the earliest things I overcame as well was
Being
patience.
patient with yourself or being patient with dating?
Overall, like I'm like naturally not that patient. I'm like, let's go, let's get things done now, let's go. But I had to learn to like slow down, cool myself down, and be like, okay, it slips through every now and then, like in regular life. But as far as interpersonal connection, I've almost completely mastered being able to be patient and just understand that not everybody processes and moves at the same pace as me.
Mhm.
You know.
I would say a big thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
No, I was saying that a big thing that I'm starting to catch on to and learn, and I don't know about y'all, is that we don't really know what toxic is. This is the only way we're taught, and then when we get older and stuff that's not happening the way and stuff start breaking and stuff like that, or better yet, if we see our grandparents together and they've been together like 20 plus, 40 plus years, and they damn near die together, we're like, okay, however he did it, that's how I'm about to go about it. But even more so, we're not understanding that the times of living was different. So he had to be a different type of man. It had to be a different type of woman.
You can give
Now,
an analogy to that.
yeah. So for instance now, right? I don't think it's meant for a normal person to be able to access people all across the world and have so many following views. I can actually see women from all shapes, colors, different sizes, tastes, and everything like that around the world. And I'm like, I should focus upon the ones in my city and in my community, because those are the ones that are actually real that I see all the time and I'm trying to contribute to my main community. But yet, for a woman wise, I don't have to deal with this guy. I can deal with somebody else. So what I'm saying is that true, I would say, appreciation and value of human interaction is not really like how it used to be, because social media and technology, we're fed so many women. There's somebody perfect out there, but there's always somebody better. I feel like we all are fed into that. We all know that because social media, we can have access to anybody. So that access, I think it what prohibits our growth now. It's been deteriorating us. Versus if we didn't have social media at all, guess what? People gonna be still popping up on people. Hey, wherever in my town is, I guess only people I know and see from the bars and stuff like that. Cool, this is what I know. So I just feel like that's what's starting to deteriorate in my eyes with that. And even more so nowadays, now women are, that's what I said, women are evolving. I have access to so much now. Now, man, we gotta evolve to a whole nother level. Like, okay, damn, look, Charlotte, look, you ain't gotta grow about that guy, probably have money and all that stuff, but he ain't gonna listen to you. He ain't gonna talk to you. He's not gonna be here for you. He ain't gonna support you like how I can support you. And that makes more of a longevity standpoint than how it used to be, if that all makes sense to y'all.
Definitely. I was gonna say one of the analogies I have is when you said like we have the word toxic, but we don't really have we don't have a grasp on what's actually toxic.
Exactly.
Anything can be toxic is the way I look at it. Anything can be toxic.
Every relationship is different.
If you take a fruit and you put it in a container and you sit it there for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, that fruit was healthy for you, but now it will become a poison. So anything that becomes stagnant and does not have motion and does not have a benefit to you anymore becomes a poison. It becomes toxic. So if something is not moving and not working within your life or lifestyle, then it becomes toxic.
But even more so, think about it too. Like toxic can just change between each relationship because you realize what you didn't like. So in order for you to really know that it was toxic, you have to get into another relationship, another situation. You have to take that chance again. Unfortunately,
you can't stack.
Until you get to a point of being like, you know what? I think I've done enough damage to myself, let alone to somebody else, to realize, okay, this is the best way about to disconnect somebody. It won't cause that much more recoil within myself and her.
Yeah, but that's not, like every situation, something can be toxic. It might have worked in the other relationship. It might not work in this one.
Exactly.
You can't keep everything in a box and be like, oh, this is the fruit that I have and this is how I use it. You know what I mean? Like for every single situation, because it's not going to work in every single situation and relationship that you find yourself in, romantically and not romantically. You know what I mean? And when you move like that, if you're just moving like in this stagnant way where, again, the fruit is just in the box and that's okay with you, it's going to turn to poison. It's going to become toxic at some point.
For sure. What about you, Taylor? What are some things that you found for yourself? Have you been in multiple relationships? If you have, what are some things that you realized for yourself as being toxic woman, if you was, some things that you corrected?
A few things that I realized are toxic for me. And mine are a little different because I've never purposely tried to be a toxic person. I get like a lot of people's toxic probably wasn't like on accident.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I kind of wanted to change. I want to kind of have all you women kind of answer this in a more so accent. Like, what do y'all feel are toxic traits about a woman that y'all feel need to be corrected nowadays?
Okay, so what do you want me to answer specifically right now?
Yeah, if you want, if you
My
can.
own toxic traits?
Yeah, on your toxic trait or in general. You know, you can say when the world you see
Oh.
with women, what do you feel is like the top 3 toxic traits that you thought that you think would hope change?
For women in general, right? Or just for myself?
Yeah, just women in general.
I think some toxic traits for women in general is materialism. How much we focus on like body dysphoria, you know, material like purses, money, stuff like that. Like I think a lot of those things are just tools, and we kind of just like I love that empowerment, but like you said, I just think it's too much exposure going on right now, and people aren't really sure how to navigate, how to not let it change or inflict their souls on who they like or who they want to be with. I think so many people are caught up in that standard of living, that standard of quality life, of freedom, of income, all that stuff like we're worried about right now in our generation, creating their own businesses. Like it's great and all, but we're becoming so empowered.
Damn, she's saying some good shit. We can't hear.
You know what I'm saying? We should be a world of selflessness instead of selfishness. God didn't create us to be so fixated and focused on how we look, you know, changing how we look, things like that. So I think women, we could do better at loving ourselves as the women God created us to be, and focusing more on things that aren't materialistic in this world, so we can actually become women of substance again. Focus on things that will actually help us get further in life than, you know, a bag or a man. You know what I'm saying? Another thing is, I think we've gotten too comfortable with showing our bodies as well. I think we've become too exposed to exposing ourselves. So now it's regular for you to walk around the house in front of somebody else's man with no clothes on, or, you know, go out and dance on. I don't know. It's just different women out there. They're getting too bold. They're getting too comfortable with doing things that themselves, if they saw someone doing with their man, would not feel comfortable with. And they make it a struggle for us women to communicate that now. It's like, oh, you're jealous. Oh, you're insecure. Oh, you're this. No, nigga, I just respect my relationship, and I would not walk around looking like that in front of your man, because I know you're already self-conscious. You might not want to vocalize that, but if I was to walk around in my sports bra and do extra, or, you know, you would not appreciate that. You would look at me differently, for sure. It might be a little bit, it might be a lot of it. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Either way, I think women could, I understand having fun, but I think women could have a boundary on when it becomes, you know, fun or entertainment, you know, for attention.
I love everything you said. It's definitely dope. And the big thing that triggered in my mind.
Oh, I want to echo on that too, man. That was dope. She should like travel and be like a motivational speaker or something, bro. Like she is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, man, that's dope.
I would say a big thing that you said that guys probably missed. Well, you didn't say it, but I'm gonna phrase it. It's more so what technology has done to a woman is leveled up their attention that they need to feel like a woman.
Yeah.
Attention to feel like seen or appreciated. Like, oh, I cannot. It's just unfortunate. Oh, you get all that attention 24/7, and you get physical attention. It's like, yo, damn, shawty, like I've been working. I've been like, yeah, I'm trying to chill. Why you want all my chicken love?
Yeah.
Well, you didn't get all I want since you ain't gonna give it to me. I'm like, okay. And
yeah.
So it's like it's harder to create that longevity because of what technology has done.
Exactly. And like what you're saying, like to bounce back off, piggyback off of that is like, I feel like that fucks with longevity so much, because now it puts other men in the applicant position to fill your spot, because they're thinking, oh, because you're not doing this and this somebody else would, you know, like you said, I just think it's too much access. We should be focusing on the people in our community more. And I feel like that's where all that unrealistic expectations of women, of men, will kind of also diminish a little bit, because now we're being more humble, we're being more down to earth, we're being more of a community, we're being more loving towards one another, what we have instead of what we want or what we see somebody else having.
The biggest thing is that men have to evolve and understand how to know how to teach a woman to be herself or help her get out of the situation that's not benefiting her. And that's just
exactly.
He has to be a man that understands these things. And I appreciate
that's a big reason why I'm not married yet, because I want a man who can actually teach me more about that stuff as well, you know.
You say, yeah, it's coming, it's pending, capital letters, underline.
Okay.
Black ink, white paper, print, let's get it. All right. Ashley Marie, what about you, Ashley Marie? We can't hear you. Sound good.
Sorry, I was muted because I'm driving and I know how background noise can be. As far as what I feel women need to work on, I don't feel like it has anything to do with articles of clothing. I just say that because I took that as a shot because I'm a bitch that likes to walk around naked. And understand this. I am confident within myself. So what I choose to wear has nothing to do with anyone around me at all. And I think that's one thing that women need to work on. You need to work on self, girl.
Is that the
Love on
pinnacle
the self,
gland?
no?
That's the pinnacle gland, right? All right.
Love on the self, no? I feel like the problem is we as women are so busy trying to love so many things. I want to love this guy. I want to love this. I want to love this. Love on the self, no? The thing is, if I love myself so much, what does it? I don't give a fuck about what Zena's wearing. Zena, you look great, but guess what? I look great. I think that a lot of women go wrong because in relationships and doing other things because they're not secure within themselves first. That's the problem. How am I going to love you, get to know you, be your wife, and I don't even love myself? I'm not even confident within myself. You need to have your own security. That way, if a bitch walked up to your nigga and she is drop dead gorgeous, she got the ab implants, the bitch got double D's, titties is in the chin, and she's oiled up. I don't give a fuck. Bitch, you look great, but this is my husband, and we fucking tonight type shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I think that if women just become more confident within themselves, more secure within themselves, it has nothing to do. And I don't need a man to teach me how to be secure within myself. Mm-hmm. I need to be that. A lot of people go wrong because they don't work on their singleness first before, the other shit. That's just my opinion on that whole thing.
I appreciate you saying the truth. You definitely said a lot of things that it's just becoming absent, and I hope you guys hearing everything on all this stuff is definitely giving you guys insight on just what other women see in other women. And regards to, go ahead, Chios.
Ashley, what do you think are the steps to loving oneself?
The steps to loving oneself is first recognizing that you don't fucking love yourself. That was the hardest part for me. I was like thinking I'm just some person that, some confident woman. Ain't nobody fucking with me out here type shit, right? No, I don't love myself. I'm saying like right now I'm working on my self-love journey and I do love myself now, but I don't love myself the way into the level that I should. So I say the first step is discovering that you actually do not love yourself. That is reflecting upon relationships and interactions just in your daily, in your world and in your universe. Why is it that I feel like I will compromise myself, anything that my feelings, anything, whatever, for the next person? You know what I'm saying? That's not how that shit goes. And then just bring it to a biblical standpoint. I'm a person of faith. My family and I, we grew up Christ believers. So if it offends you, I apologize. But I just don't mean to hurt you. But this is just what I am. When it comes to that, it's more so. The word says, love God as you would love yourself, and then you can pour out and love others. So it's like love God. That's one. Love yourself, that's 1A. So it's like love God, love yourself, then you can pour out and love others. The problem is I had the whole order all wrong. So to answer your question, the steps, reflecting and realizing you don't love yourself, and then forgiving yourself for not loving yourself, and then working on learning yourself, knowing yourself, and just go from there. That's kind of my steps that I'm working on.
And your priorities reflect how much you love yourself. How much you take your priorities seriously. Let things get in the way of it.
Say one more time.
Is that like how you appreciate yourself in regards to like you when your priorities are intact every day, whatever things you got to do, you don't compromise getting them things done.
So, for example, me, everybody knows, like, I'm kind of like really into fitness. You know what I'm saying? So I make sure that I take the time to incorporate activities in my daily processes every day. You know, whether that be if I can't, you know, run my 2 miles under 20 and I can't lift my weights and I can't whatever, I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, pick up my god baby. We're gonna go to the park. I'm gonna do something active. One thing I had to realize is that I become depressed when I'm not active. Why? I don't know. But you know, but it makes sense, right? Because people are like, oh, she's obese, she's fat, and she's got 6 chins, and she's just unhappy. So I think oh, I'm sorry, somebody else is talking.
What you said, Chills?
No, I was just saying, I think it's deeper than that. I think it's like self-love is broken down into things, you know what I mean? And like the reason that like people get depressed when they're not active is because, I mean, think about it, like you can think about it outside of self and then bring it back to yourself. If you're in a relationship with somebody or you have friends and you guys don't do anything, you don't go anywhere, you don't feel good about that. You know what I mean? So you need to be able to be active and get your body to move around. That's a part of loving oneself. So of course you're going to feel depressed if you're not active, if you're not taking care of your health and things like that. You know what I mean? It's not about really your weight range or anything as much. It can be an outside influence on it. But really, as long as you know that you're active and you're taking care of your health, you're going to feel secure in that. Just the same that if you're loving yourself, you had to feel self-security. I have my own finances in order. I have this in order. I'm okay with myself. And then if you want to love yourself more, it's about like things like that. You know what I mean? Like whatever you love within others, you should be able to do within yourself, or, you know, perform an act for yourself, and you will begin to feel more comfortable within that skin. And that's just the journey that we all had to, you know,
navigate ourselves. We all got to navigate that ourselves.
Yeah,
for sure. Steven, brother, what about you, brother? I know you had a question. I appreciate you sharing, Chios, though.
Yeah. I'm man, this is really dope, man. It really is. I gotta tell you.
I'm glad you're coming.
I'm really appreciating everybody's perspective. One of the things I thought what Ashley said was totally amazing and incredible. One thing that she said that stood out for me, she's like, "Don't no nigga gotta teach me nothing," and I'm paraphrasing, right? And I like that. I have a question. My question, and this is for any woman that's on the panel, and I'm asking just to give a little bit of context because I think this will help us. It will help me. You know, how does a man move around a woman that doesn't realize everything that Ashley just said? You know, that she don't need no nigga to teach her nothing. Where it starts is her, because some women I've seen and heard, they focus their awareness at times, especially when they're in that place of despair where they're hurt. They blame people. And when people love the other person, who they gonna blame? The person that's closest to them. And if that man is closest to them, they'll say, well, you the reason why I'm like this, and you the reason why this happened. So she don't realize that she's in that space, that she needs to, everything that her place of growth and development starts with herself. So how does a man, can any woman on this panel give a man insight?
That's the good question, my boy. That's the good question.
When a man finds himself in that position, if he does, how can he remember, what tools can he remember to move around the cabin with her? Either A, he's been assigned to her life to help her through that and to be patient and to love her through that, or she ain't it. I gotta go.
Hey,
like
man.
Now.
I like that. That's a good question, women.
Can I Oh, you want to go first, love? Go first.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you go
I
first.
mean,
You've
because
been
there's
talking a
always,
minute. I
you
want to hear
know,
what you got to say.
Well,
at what point are they going to look in the mirror and everybody take a look at themselves instead of it's always somebody else's fault?
Okay,
Please
Jazz
don't
Singer, man.
actually, Taylor, I want you to go because all I was gonna really say was that I had a guy friend that was dealing with something like that, and he was mature enough to let this woman know that he didn't have space and capacity for like her healing, and so he had to like exit out of the picture or whatever and leave her where she was at. He was like, I still got you. I still, you're still my friend and everything like that, but as much as you need me or whatever, I can't do that for you or whatever. And I feel like when men do that, I definitely think they're on a different level than some others. And unfortunate to say, we don't find many men like that. But that was all like I had to say. But go ahead, Taylor.
That was perfect though. That's why I wanted you to go. I think it is based off of why a woman is feeling that way. A lot of what I'm saying is going to come out of communication, because at the end of the day, if you know that's a problem, you should communicate that. If that's bothering you, always feel like, I hope you're with someone who you feel like you can communicate that with. And even if they do take it a little hard, at least you'll know like you verbalize what you could take and what you could not, what you are willing to do and what you cannot do. And then it comes down to like, if you're a man who you feel like you're going to give it that opportunity to work through it, I would express to her as much reassurance as possible. At the end of the day, if you were in a state of depression, if you were in a state of need and you would need more communication from your woman, she would automatically give you that, because we're women, we're natural nurturers. The only reason why it feels that way as for men, a lot of times, like how Stephen is saying, is because a lot of men don't understand or read women's verbal body languages enough, or pay attention the way women do to men, to know certain things, so that if that is something she's going through, you can recognize it. Or if that is something she's going through, you can help minimize the way she's feeling by reassurance immediately. Or, that it just comes from knowing your partner more, and if that's something that's happening, you're willing to work with them, I say do some personal development through couple therapy or something online, not even at a session, because that shit is too expensive, honestly, unless you find someone good like Caleb and his girl or something, you know what I'm saying? But like, I would literally just do some church sermons together, sit down and focus on personal and mental development with each other. So then y'all can have certain conversations y'all wouldn't have at home watching TV, because now you're focused on this topic and you're both like, that's a good word. Let's dive into this posit right here and give me your perspective. How do you feel? Do you feel like as a woman, this is helping you? Like, find different women events you could probably take her to. Put her around women who like treat her as you would a daughter. I'm not saying like women should need this, but like if you're willing to work with a woman who's going through certain things, step into it with her, just like you would want her to step into your struggle as a man. That's not me trying to be a dependent woman on my man. That's not me trying to tell my man he's responsible for helping me heal. It's just a partnership through thick and thin, through sickness and health, through rich or poor. You know what I'm saying? These are things you're going to have to be able to communicate with. And if there's something you can't do, hopefully she understands that and starts to work on herself. And if she can't, that's when I think you'll be able to know, okay, this is a time I need to step away. Because at least, you communicated a problem. Y'all were able to have a conversation, or you weren't. And now you're able to jeopardize off of her response and off of your response. If that's something y'all can work on, y'all can attack the problem and not each other. Now, if she keeps attacking you and blaming you and you're putting forth the steps, you're loving her, you're doing what you can. Not everybody's perfect. So, of course, you might feel that way, like you're doing all you can, and you might be falling short in certain areas. But like I said, that's a communication thing. So like I said, it really comes down to communication and, working with each other. Do some lessons together. Watch a few sermons together. Do a few Bible studies. Something that'll help y'all get talking. Write some questions down. Watch it alone. Write on a piece of paper. Switch papers. Read it in different rooms, and then come and talk about something, you know what I'm saying? And if they don't want to do that, then I think that's when it's time to step away. Or if they're not trying to work with you on something they're falling short of, that's when you should step away. But I don't think you should just give up on someone,
Hey, you better preach. You better preach, insightful leader.
I know, right?
Stephen, like I felt that. Oh, I felt it. But no, honestly, the biggest thing you definitely said, Taylor, and it probably went over guys' head, I understand it, and it's inevitable. We got to learn what a woman was and what she's evolving into being to understand, okay, this is the man I need to evolve to be to help her become the woman that I think can create longevity. Because it's sustainable of all this attention, all this, like, it's not real. but even nevertheless, to be able to help and navigate a woman down, or not even down, back into different ways or to a new way of essence to create longevity, I think that is the answer. Because nowadays, man,
Well,
we can't
Caleb, I
stop
mean,
fighting it, huh?
you know, I mean, I'd like to challenge that if I may.
What's that?
You know, one of the things that was really great about what she just said, though, is that we have to pay very keen attention and notice, is she willing to, or a person, because men can have this issue too.
True.
Are they willing to, have they identified inside themselves that there needs to be a change? You know, idealistically, what comes from the heart should reach the heart. And let's say you're doing everything you can to bring this into that person's awareness. But they're like, no, that ain't it. You know what? The reason why I'm acting like this is because of you, and you said this. And because you said that, now it's making me feel like this. But the whole time they had issues even before y'all met.
And that's the key
So
thing.
what point, you know what I'm saying, like how far deep and wide does that go? Because if they don't realize that they have that issue when you bring it to their attention, who says that we have to position ourselves as men to facilitate that process?
It's all about creating it's all about doing it in a creative way. Like, for instance, for me, like if I'm dating a woman, getting to know a woman, I want to know, like, you know, how was your past relationships? Typically everybody's been through relationships, right? Now, hopefully their relationships within their 20s are not too long ago, but if it's like years and years ago, then she probably don't have a new foundation of how she want to go about relationships. But nevertheless, past relationship is a key thing for me to understand. And like, okay, seeing how she talks about it is everything. Was it all based upon her fault, or was it a guy's fault? And things of nature, so I can know, okay, this type of woman, she's taking ownership of what she fucked up on, what she did, and how she went about it. Now she's going into a new essence, more chill, more patience, more like a different type of mentality in this versus another woman like, no, he wasn't nothing. He wasn't trying to pay this. He wasn't trying to, and you just asking simple questions, and you can just automatically see how she's reacting to that and moving to that. I'm like, okay, you're probably a woman I probably need to watch a little bit more closely throughout this dating phase, if that's the case. And a lot of women, I mean, it can be very simple. It's like, you know, I'm just taking my time, taking it easy and breath. But if you give her a great and phenomenal date, she can switch up and like, no, this guy, he's a rarity. He's best. I mean, that's happened to me too many times. A woman trying to let it rip with me quick. And also they put up a front the whole time of all this that are cool, but their actions showed me otherwise. Like, you just never really dealt with a quality man that you felt you actually deserve or was capable. So it can be very, in a sense, for me, that's how I look at it when Taylor was saying, like, watch the cues. A woman is not really based upon words. They can say one thing, but they actually say something else. So you want to watch her actions more, if that all makes sense, Stephen. What is your take on the top, Hops? I know that's what you say.
Yeah, thank you all. I appreciate that. Great insight.
What about you, Hops? What is your take so far, bro, on everything?
I think it's important to know how a person deals with certain things that happen in life. How do you deal with stress? How do you deal with what do you do when you're angry? How do you calm yourself down? When you're in the same room as somebody that you just got done having an argument with, what are you going to do in order for everything to just be just kosher? And it does take a very, like she said, a very keen set of eyes on both parts to know, all right, well, whenever my partner starts to, stomp around the fucking house, or she starts slamming stuff, and like, I ask her what's wrong, she doesn't want to say it, I need to give her respect, give her a space, let her take her time to eventually figure out that's just one case. But if it takes a different approach, it's sitting down, like she said, what's her name, Taylor, like she said, writing it down, and write down what the issue was. I go read it somewhere else, come get my head together, and then we figure it out. And yeah, I disagree. I agree. I don't really have much to say because I'm agreeing with a lot of the stuff that's being put out right now.
A big thing that you yeah, I love it. A big thing that you united with me, and you probably, all y'all can probably think about, that you probably didn't think about before, is that whenever for me, like my past relationship, right, I was so deep with her in a lot of ways, not because I wanted to, because that's just the level that we had to go to make it feel real, right? Now, if I'm moving forward, I don't feel like it's anywhere near unless I make all that happen and learn about her in those ways and things in the nature, and plus more to make it very clear that it's different. So it's a lot of times relationships can evolve into that regard of like you don't even have the same standards of what you can feel or what you feel is necessary to make this one different from before. Sometimes that could be a thing too.
What I would say about that is life is always moving forward. Like you can't go back to yesterday and redo something, right? You're changing every day, every minute, and just like time keeps going, your relationship is going to continue to grow, if you continue to nurture it. And I feel like it's an equal partnership, feeding the beast, for lack of better words, two halves coming in and feeding the whole, making everything work. What works for you? What's going to work for you, and what can you do to help your partner, to help support her or him, make life easier, to make life what you want it to be? Do you know what you want? Do you have an idea? What is the most important thing in your relationship, for you to continue it? And what is your walkaway point? What is where is it where it's just like, all right, I'm absolutely done. It doesn't matter how much time I spent, how much we developed this relationship or wherever it is, I can't take it anymore. You have to realize that within yourself on both ends before you can even come to middle ground.
For sure. And a key takeaway you definitely said, and y'all, we about to wrap it up, man. I don't want to make it too long, but the key thing that you said is that I feel it's absent and it's becoming worse. It's the willingness to stay with somebody, or the willingness to learn somebody, or the willingness to love somebody. Social media is what's making that more apparent, of people just like, on to the next one. I got access to a new person, another person easily. And that's unfortunate, because the video we watched a long time ago is called Practicing Divorce. Everybody just detaching versus actually looking to build, or intentional dating, unfortunately to say, but that willingness that's depleting. So nevertheless, man, we can go around the room right quick and just give key takeaways, and you guys can drop your socials in it. The IGs in the chat for everybody to follow, but go ahead, Hops. I know he's about to go. You can give your key takeaways too, brother. Uh-oh, brain fart. Okay. Brian, bro, what is your key takeaways, brother?
For one, I appreciate this call. Everybody I don't know, this was a crazy night. Yeah, everybody, I appreciate all y'all insight on everything, and you just, like I say, you just get both perspectives from the male and the female, the way they think and the way they put stuff together. But my key takeaways is basically, well, in my relationship, I know that would help me and her girl would be like really communication, that's basically what I was getting, insight from everybody, is that communication standpoint, and y'all being on that same page, So that's basically my key takeaway. But other than that, everything was interesting. There's so much to take from what everybody was saying. So that's basically what
That's why it's called treasure chest, a plethora of jewels. Everybody got the bars. Everybody got the bars.
Yeah, everybody.
Ashley Woods, you can give your key takeaway, farewell, or whatever you want to call it.
My key takeaway, it's crazy. I said it on the last call. It just keeps just hitting there. Again.
The pinnacle again. Seth, help me. It's hitting the pinnacle.
Pineal
gland. Sorry, my educational pronunciation of the syllables and stuff. Go ahead, Ashley.
My key. Sorry, I'm having sound issues over here in the Mazda. But my key takeaway again is just the same. When it comes to relationships, take your fucking time. Because if you take your time, then you don't look up and realize this bitch, she a little thrown off. Oh, she don't love herself. No. If you took your time, you know what I'm saying, getting to know this person, it would be in this relationship with somebody, and now you realize, oh, this bitch don't love herself, and now I'm the reason for all the shit that's wrong with her. Oh, hell no, right? And, oh, I love her though, so I don't want to leave her. And, oh, this and all that. You ain't got to deal with all that shit. Take your time. That's A. Take your time. There's no rush. We all gonna die anyway. So if I die married or unmarried, I'd rather die with healthy relationships.
I love to hear that, and I appreciate you coming and bringing the energy and charismaticness from your third eye. I'm gonna just say third eye. Fuck it. Chios, brother, what's your key takeaway, brother? Third eye.
Hi, Neil.
Pineal
stop.
gland. All right, I got it.
But now, tonight, I guess my biggest takeaway. First, let me say, all y'all are dope. All of you are amazing people. Y'all are growing as people, every single one of us, including me. So just continue to strive towards that. I think my key takeaway tonight would be, I don't even think we really went over it like that, but there's a balance between the masculine and the feminine within all of us, and it is important to balance that within yourself. I think one of the hidden things that men don't like to acknowledge, or I guess we're getting there, I guess men are getting there, is that you are an emotional being, bro. Like, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. You're an emotional being. You're just not like, it's not the first thing you react off of, but you are emotional. You have emotions in your body. So if you don't learn to own those, they will control you for the rest of your life. It doesn't matter how logical you are, those emotions will influence that logic, and you'll be under that. It's to surpass that is what the real goal is, to learn to control and balance that. And I don't think we really touched on that, but it is very important that we all do that. And I do remember Kevin Gates touching on that for a moment within that interview, and I have seen notes of it throughout this conversation.
I love it. I love it. I think, well, I don't know about y'all. I think the key thing you said about emotion, I feel like men, we get more in control of our emotions when we put it towards something to make us get control of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but I think it's about learning to tap into your emotions throughout. You know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't have to shut my emotions off unless I'm putting it towards something. I should be able to feel my emotions throughout the day and be able to use that, that emotion. You know what I mean? I should be able to use that emotion regardless if it's on a task or not. I should be able to use that and control it and understand it.
Okay, that makes way more sense. Steven, and jazz singer, brother, what was your key takeaways, man? I know it's been a while since you've been to trust test, but I know you're just like, yo.
Man, oh man, what can I say, my brother? I'm trying to find the words, man. I'm gonna tell you, I love everybody. I love everybody, man, both the men and the women, and
this ain't even everybody,
say it to the men in a funny way, because it's not even like that. But tonight has helped me to realize how many gems and jewels are here that are really life changing, especially when you're in that place and you've been desiring it and looking for some information for something to just help me get over to that next place. And every single person on here, man, was absolutely amazing. All of you all are beautiful spirits, man. And I loved it. Like, jewels from everybody. One of the things that helped me to realize, I'll tell you what, I can get off of this call. It flipped the switch for me. Every person brought a gem that flipped the switch for me on some next steps that and the next place that I see myself, where I can find myself in. And I've experienced such joy on tonight internally that I can look forward to tomorrow and say, you know what, from this group, this few minutes, this session, because you never know where people at and where people come in at, and what they're either looking for or what the motives are. But from tonight, man, I can go into tomorrow in a great way, just being around and having this space. I thank you, Caleb, and your beautiful counterpart, the lady next to you. Y'all are great, man. Like, y'all need to be licensed counselors or something, to open y'all up a business and make millions of dollars. And I'll be like, at least I can get in. I got to meet them. And one day I can look up to y'all and I'll say, man, y'all got to quit because my neck is hurt from looking up to y'all, man. So thank you all so much, and everybody is incredible.
For sure, man. Hey, I don't know about y'all, man, but that man, hey, man, that means something to me, man, to hear that, bro. That says a lot. And you ain't come to church with us in a long time, so you see how it's evolving with different people and just The energy, man. I feel like everybody here, there's no disrespect, there's no nothing. Everybody comes with calm mind, energy, perspective, and we all learn from somebody, or somebody want to challenge it, and challenging it is like, okay, damn, I didn't think about it like that. So it's always amazing. So I'm glad you said that. Taylor Woods, what is your key takeaways in your farewell? I can't hear you. It look good, smell good.
Okay, thank you, Steven. So sweet. I appreciate you. Blessings to you, brother. I'm so happy we're able to give you some insight and just some joy for your day. And I know everybody's going through a lot, so I'm happy you're able to find some family and something grounded for you that'll really help you push. I'm glad we could do that for you. And Chio, my boy Chio was talking earlier. What? All right, man. So many great things. Caleb, to you and your shawty, thank you so much for this, allowing us to be here in this space. Like you said, we learned so much. It's just a great environment. Since my first call, I was like, oh, Lord, like, I'm so happy I found this. I'm so happy it wasn't what I thought it was, so I could be here again. So I just want to say thank you, give you your props, because you probably don't hear it enough. But I'm so proud of you, fam, and I'm so happy to have you as family. But what I learned today is really just how important it is to really find that healthy medium for your partner, for the people involved in your life, no matter what position or whatever y'all are in. Go hard for them, but also be as gentle for them as you would be as hard for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, find that happy medium when you know they're lacking, or when you know they're needing or in doubt or just down. Find a way to find that happy medium for yourself so it doesn't rub off on people the wrong way. Or you can find ways to help people around you who are really going through it in some ways you wouldn't have realized before, until you were on this call. So it was just so much I learned about communication, looking within ourselves to be gentle, but also love hard and, love soft, so just how important it is to not let toxic masculinity or femininity get in the way of the people we love. And also picking and choosing our battles, taking your time with people so you don't have to go through the struggle of being so indecisive with when you want to give more to a person or when you want to give less to a person. And also just some really good exercises to do with people around you who you might be dealing with certain things with. But I took so much away from my communication and just personal health wise. And I can't wait for the next call.
Hey, next topic gonna be just ignorant. All right. The guy get ignorant. The next topic got to be ignorant. I'm just putting it out there. It's gonna be spicy. But nevertheless, Hops, man, what was your key takeaways, brother? Hops.
Emotional maturity. I told you that's the thing for the year, dude. There is nothing wrong with understanding the fact that this makes me sad. This makes me happy. I don't like this. I don't like that. Everybody here doesn't know me, but I'm a very straightforward person. I don't mind saying, hey, I don't want that corn. I don't like corn. Or get your feet off me. Don't touch me. Communication is the cornerstone to any and every relationship. And that emotional maturity, full circle, that emotional maturity will help you develop any type of relationship that you come across, whether it be platonic, romantic, or even business relationships. Like, tonight was good.
Hey,
I enjoyed it, and I ain't been on here in a little minute, but the last time Steven was here, like I think I said it to Caleb, that man was saying a bunch of shit that I just couldn't even respond to.
Yeah, bro. I can't say it enough. This ain't even everybody. It's gonna get better and better, and I'm gonna keep inviting people more and more. So it's gonna keep evolving. So I'm excited for you to come back. Everybody to come back. It's gonna be dope. Rich, man, you said you had a question. Rich. See, that's another gem right there. Jewel right there, Rich.
Yo, I was actually asking what was the question?
Oh, the actual topic at hand was the difference between toxic and sacred masculinity. And I had the video and stuff. I need to drop the video. I'll send you the video actually, but nevertheless, we just went over so many things of what was the toxicness that women seen in other women that's of absence right now that needs to be worked on. We went over all those things. And the dope thing about everything, bro, I recorded this video. So you want to go back and play it?
Yeah, I'm caught up. So we're just doing recap right here.
Yeah, right now, just key takeaways from everything that you've heard. Everybody said and everything.
Okay, yeah. I mean, your girl Ashley earlier, I think, what she was saying there about people you know, and I hate that she already left because you know, I like to let her know, you know, when I like to give her one up.
I let her know.
Yeah, you know, it's a thing of I think having goals, man, like when you have a vision, when you are clear on what you're going towards, because we are all imagining some type of future self that we're stepping into, right? There's actually some profound, I don't say it's new psychology, but there's some things in the ether right now as far as how we grow and change as people, and we're less driven by our past, right? There used to be this mindset of determinism, basically where your past is what determines who you are now, the things you went through, your traumas and this type of thing. But in fact, it's more about who you envision yourself to become, right? The bigger your vision, the more you're pulled forward, right? You can almost look at somebody and say, oh, this person's attitude, the way they are, they're quote unquote going places, or they think of themselves as this or that. And I think that is a huge determining factor in how we set up our relationships, how driven we are to do things, just our perspective on the world and things like that. Like if you know you're going to be a millionaire, all of a sudden you're like, you might be a Trump supporter. As a very like extreme, just off the, you know, cuff kind of like example there. But it's that type of thing. So I think a lot of things could be solved when it comes to the relationships. And what you call toxic in one way is like, no, I mean, you know, if you're in a certain mindset of like, yo, I want to be free, I want to do things, then some of the ideas about traditional relationships definitely sound limiting, you know what I mean? But it can also be liberating, and you can find a lot of freedom in having really traditional values or whatever it is that some might call toxic, right? Or maybe the modern thing is toxic. I'm not sure which one is more toxic anymore, because it's like, it's all perspective, it's all relative. Right. I just want to say this too, just get it off my chest. My girl got lit this last weekend. I haven't spoken to her since Thursday. I haven't answered. I'm not talking to you. Why'd you go out and get so lit? It was Sunday. You had a day party. What are you talking about? Like, we're locked in right now. It's Q3. Like, it's August 1st. But you know that I might be toxic in that attitude. You know what I'm saying? But you know, you can't be getting lit like that on a Sunday. Not when there's so much at stake. You know. But we'll talk about it. All right, y'all boys.
I can definitely say too, I would say for me, I don't like to characterize myself all the time, because end of the day, I am what I am. If it's somebody thinks it's cool, well, look, bro, this is me. You got to take me as I come. So a lot of things, that's just what it is. But yeah, so that's just some things that I had to come to agree with myself over time. Like, but if somebody called me toxic, I'm like, look, I'm not willing to do anything about it, because that makes me me. But nevertheless, Zena wins. Queenship. No take of this. Okay.
I think this is a really good conversation that we all had. I'm glad that everybody put their input in. Definitely a lot of gems to take away from. And, you know, like I said, I encourage you guys to tell a friend that are like-minded individuals to come to this meeting, because it's always something good to take away from. So that's really it.
Sure. Well, I appreciate you saying that.
Sorry, y'all. I'm just not feeling too good. That's why I'm not speaking. That's just what it is.
I can definitely say, y'all, that's why I wanted to call it Treasure Chest, because I knew I was going to be getting dope, powerful people coming in and giving perspectives on all categories, and everybody can take something from everybody. And I feel like that's the Treasure Chest, and you have so many people coming through. It was just a perfectly worded. So nevertheless, y'all, of course, I appreciate y'all sincerely coming through. Y'all making the Treasure Chest getting more and more popping. And even nevertheless, the topic's gonna get more enhanced, and even more so, you know, the more people, the more perspectives of gems we can take. You know what I'm saying? So that is even more better. And also too, man, this Monday, you know, I'm gonna make sure I have a presentation ready for a new topic at hand, get more enhanced, because you know, this is not just about perspective of everybody. It also too, it's about having some different perspective and presentation ready for everybody, you know what I'm saying? So we can actually learn some thorough stuff as well. So, you know, these type of gatherings, man, is always dope. It's always something different. And it's actually something that's pushing you towards something better. And that's the key for Treasure Chest too. Ain't no toxicness, ain't no nothing like that. If somebody has a disagreement stuff, Stephen's asked some good questions. God damn, I was like, damn, I ain't step up my questioning skills, because he gave some stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. So nevertheless, y'all, man, y'all be safe, man. I appreciate you guys coming, man. I look forward to seeing all y'all again for Monday. If not, hey, y'all can invite somebody, they can come through for you. That'll be dope too. But nevertheless, y'all continue to be safe, man. I hope y'all have a great weekend and safe.